Alright, this is the Depot P39 headlight. A lot of you Beamer guys out there with E39s have probably bought these as an upgrade to the non-projector headlights you probably had. I mean, there's mixed reviews about them. I'm not going to go into it. But chances are I'm not going to be using these headlights much longer. But this video is for one of my subscribers. You'll know who you are. And currently, I know you're going to install the Umnitsa Angel Eyes that I have in there. So I'm just going to show you how to take the headlight apart real quick. You'll see these little clips here. There's one here, one here. There's one here on the side. There's three on the bottom, and then there's a little release clip here. You actually need to pop these up. Now, since your headlights are probably newer, you don't have to worry about breaking them, but you want to be careful when you start popping them up, because if you break the clip, you won't really be able to reseal. So, as you can see, it comes apart pretty easy. And we'll go to the bottom. These are the ones that typically break. I've done it before. So you can kind of see how it's coming apart right now. And I'll just do this one on the side. And it seems to be caught up here. Just be careful when you start pulling it apart, because it will, sometimes it'll be kind of tricky. But this is basically the projector housing, everything like that. And then what you're going to need to do is actually, you'll see these 4 Phillips head screws in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm just going to start to loosen these up. So basically these 4 screws are what hold in the angel eye housing. And if you ever had to replace your actual lens, you would have to remove these with it, unless you ordered new ones. There's 3 screws that hold in the low beam, and then there's 4 that hold in the high beam. But basically, they'll just slide out like that. Now, if you look inside the actual angel eye housing, you'll see these little clips in there. What you need to do is basically push those through. And I'll just do a flathead for those. So basically I'm just going to push in these little plastic tabs into the housing. It might help you if you just put it on the ground or put it on a softer surface like this. Okay, there's one at the top. But as you can see, that's how the angel eye ring actually sits inside the housing. And you have a little area where you can run the wires to the back. But this is what the Umnitsa Angel Eye actually looks like underneath the cover. And what's nice about the LED Angel Eyes versus the old CCFLs, which were pretty much the rage for a long time, is you don't really have to worry about breaking these rings. The CCFLs, which were glass, you had to be pretty careful with. So basically I'm just going to clip these back in. And the install would be exactly the same for yours. Gotta line it up first. You don't have to glue it in, you don't have to do anything like that. These pretty much come ready to go. So that'll make your life a lot simpler. And you'll know it's secured when everything is sitting flush. I mean, one thing you're gonna want to make sure is you don't pinch a wire through here. If you have to take a Dremel and kind of cut it out a little bit, you can do that, but you're not really gonna have to worry about that too much. And again,
I didn't stop.
I didn't. Yeah, you're just gonna want to make sure that the wires don't get pinched in there. All right. And the best way to wire them up, what's nice about LEDs, is your might either be red or white. Mine are black and white, so I have black as the ground and I have white as the positive. You can wire them together. You don't have to run them separately. So if you basically connect them together, you'll be fine. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that some of this plastic can be kind of fragile and brittle, so don't try to work it too much. Be patient. You don't really need to tighten the screws too much. You just need them to be secure. Alright, so once the angel eye housings are back in place, you can then put the backing back on. Now, you have a little weather strip. And this is what kind of helps seal the headlight from water leaking in. Sometimes these will come out. If it does, you can glue it back in if you'd like. I mean, you don't really have to. It's not going to make a difference because once you put the headlight back together, it kind of holds itself into place. The way that I did these is I kind of run these wires over the top of the projector. And you're going to have a decent amount of length in the wire, so you don't really need to worry too much. But you're going to want to pull it all the way through. Another thing you could do if you want, it depends on how you're going to wire them up, is there's an area in the back of the headlight to run wires through. So if you wanted to do it through that, you can do that as well. I don't, but that's just a personal preference. In retrospect, I wish I kind of did. So just going to run these back over the top of the projector. And I'll show you how to close them back up. That could be tricky too, because you don't want to pinch the wires once again, and you don't want the wires to be visible from the front of the headlight. So I want to line everything up. And you can check, you don't see any of the wires exposed. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start pressing it back together. You can push down on the top of the clips as soon as you have it lined up. That way you're kind of like pre-securing it. I do the tops first, flip it back over, and then you can do the bottoms. You know, it doesn't take that much effort to get it to clip back together. And there you go. That's how you do it. I mean, pretty simple, straightforward. I mean, honestly, you could probably do it in 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. I definitely recommend when you wire the angel lights together, if you have a soldering iron and solder, definitely do it. That's going to be the best connection you can make. And of course, wrap it up in electrical tape. And if you can, definitely heat shrink tube the exposed wire that you did. You don't want water leaking in there. And like I said, definitely wrap electrical tape around it. This is the connection that I've used for the angel eyes for a long time. Basically, there's a male and female, and this is what goes into the angel eye harness. I like these because you can do a quick connect and quick disconnect, unlike the old slide and plug style that they were using before. But this is what I spliced into the harness and the angel eyes, so this is what I've been using for a while. You can pick it up at a hardware store or anything like that. So pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and it's pretty much that. Have fun.